All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. Town Commission special meeting, expanded agenda. I apologize, I didn't read the meeting at the last meeting, April 13th, 2021. We're going to skip the Pledge of Allegiance because we just had a meeting where we did the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to move to roll call. Town Clerk?
Mayor Mayfield?
Here.
Vice Mayor Campo? Let the record reflect that Vice Mayor Campo is not present. Commissioner Fender?
Here.
Commissioner Kurzman?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompeck?
Here.
All right, thank you, Town Clerk. And public comment on non-agenda items. We do have a public comment. Come on up, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. And like I said, there are 2 comment cards. So since there's nothing here that's an agenda item, just put it into 1 3-minute comment, please.
Okay. My name's Holly Hoover, 175 South Sewalls Point Road. My entire presentation changed because I didn't know this workshop was going on. I only thought this meeting was going on. About this meeting with Cheatham, since they're probably here, I don't know, for more money, could you please get them to address the ruts in my yard? We'll just make that real simple. I've been round and round with them. They keep promising they don't fix them. So separate from that, what I was going to discuss had to do with flood protection. And I had like a really nice 3-minute narrative prepared with several different drainage engineers that do mitigation drainage, forensic drainage in South Florida. I personally, I'm a professional engineer, have done a lot of drainage. I moved in here for various reasons, and the situation became worse and worse and worse and worse with inflows to my property. This goes on up and down the road. Y'all really need to address the flood protection. You need to do something about that comprehensive plan. The stormwater plan that they're talking about, that really needs to get done. I was very disappointed a year ago when Joe said in a meeting that in order to do a proper drainage for that road, you needed to do basin studies. You didn't want to spend the money. Proper basin, full basin studies. And the thing is what it's going to get back to is that all the people that own the lots right now that don't have swales, that don't have proper retention, they're not going to want to do anything. And you're not going to make them. And you're going to continue to cheat me. And that's wrong. So you got to make it up to me somehow, because you've been not you personally, but you as the commission have been flooding me for the entire time I've been here, more and more and more and more. And it's very difficult to watch opinionated, affluent, privileged attitude people drive by me just throwing wakes, you know, from High Point, because they're driving through their own runoff. So I ask you for 3 things. I ask you to make this part of the, pause that road down there. Get that comprehensive plan done. Get the drainage addressed. Get all the missing swales and everything addressed and the compensation for that addressed. I'd be happy to, for free, help Joe do these studies. I offered this many, many years ago. I offered to do studies for free. I offered to, when you keep saying the undergrounding, the utility, you mean undergrounding the power, right? FP&L. That's part of the infrastructure. It's all infrastructure, and it's all conflicts. One pipe over the other. Oh, someday we'll sleeve this. We'll sleeve it through. Oh, now we can't make that work. So what sorry about this. What I'm asking you to do is to pause that. That $2.5 million to tear up the road later, that's a damn waste of money. That vacuum line should go in by segments by this phase. I'm not against any improvement here. I would have gladly, I'll give you the $14,000 right now. I barely have, I'll give it to you. I'll do whatever it takes to get this infrastructure modern. But I don't want to keep being the retention for High Point. It's not right. The building official told me that y'all told him that you could drain public roads through all the private properties. Well, you've been in breach of that comp plan for 31 years. You've lost your immunity with the legislature. I think it's 168, I don't know, I'm not an attorney, but you've breached you've got a problem with that. So I'm here asking you to do the right thing. I've been putting up with this for 24 years. I've been busy with more important things, though,
right.
Raising a family.
Thank you, Holly. It's been 3 minutes.
So that's what I'm here to say. And can I say one more thing about the CIP?
No, it's 3 minutes. You can feel free to email us, truly, and call.
About all this?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, let us move on to additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda. Seeing none. All right, let's move on to discussion. A, J.W. Cheatham contract, and it says discussion, but we are voting on this, correct? Correct.
Yes.
Town manager.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, excuse me. Discussion item A is regarding the J.W. Cheatham Incorporated contract, and we are here today to move forward. During the September 3rd, 2020 special meeting, the contract with J.W. Cheatham Incorporated was approved for the work associated with Parts 2 and 3. Part 2 is the work from the Sewalls Meadows subdivision to the Margarita subdivision, including work on Margarita Road. Part 3 work is from the Margarita subdivision through the Mandalay and White Fence Acres subdivision to the High Point subdivision, including work on Mandalay Road. Part 2 of the project is substantially complete, and HMGP funding in the amount of $877,500 has been obligated for Part 3 work to proceed. As noted in the original memo from September 3rd, 2020, a notice to proceed for Part 3 would not be provided until funding was established. During the course of construction for Part 2, change orders 1 and 2 were approved to account for speed reduction signage and grouting of the sewer line, sanitary sewer line. Change order 1 is in your backup material. It shows a total of $1,694. And change order 2 is in your backup material. It shows a total of $2,312.50. The recommendation today, staff is asking you to approve the notice to proceed for Part 3 and J.W. Cheatham, including the change orders 1 and 2.
Thank you, town manager. Is there any discussion from the commission? Nope. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the notice to proceed for Part 3 with J.W. Cheatham, including change orders 1 and 2?
Second.
All right. No more commission. I think Commissioner Fender made the motion, and then it was a tie.
Gotta be fast.
All right. Town clerk, will you please call the vote?
Commissioner Fender?
Yeah, hi, yes, please.
Commissioner Kurzman?
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Peck?
Yes.
Mayor Mayfield?
Yes. All right. The next one is the consort contract. Town manager, will you please introduce that one?
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, this is for CEI services for the same area. During the July 28, 2020 regular commission meeting, the commission accepted the ranking of CEI firms as offered by the evaluation committee in response to RFQ 2020-001. At that time, Consor Engineers LLC was ranked first for CEI services. With the approval of HMGP funding in the amount of $877,500 for the South Sewalls Point Road project, Phase 1, Part 3 work is scheduled to proceed. The engineer's proposed fee for the CEI services associated with this scope of work totals $84,000. Recommendation is staff is asking for approval of the attached proposal from Consor Engineers LLC.
All right, thank you. All right. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none. Town clerk, will you please call the vote?
Commissioner Kurzman?
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Peck?
Yes.
Mayor Mayfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Fender?
Yes,
All right, you guys, that was easy. We are on to commission and staff closing comments. Staff, do you have any closing comments for this meeting?
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, I'm going to ask our town engineer to come up and give us an update on the projects.
Michelle, do you have I just want to kind of make sure they understand
Did you email it to me?
yeah,
I'll pull it up.
she should have emailed that to you. I know the last time we had a discussion about Sewalls Point, there was a little confusion about the various funding sources, and as you recall, I put on that chart phases 1, 2, parts 1A, B, C, and all that stuff. So I thought I'd narrow it down to just something that's a little more, probably a little clearer, so that maybe this will clear it up, but this chart here is really depicting various costs for the project we are working on right now, okay? Forget all the rest of them, what we're working on now. And I just wanted to make sure we summarize what is basically, as Michelle pointed out to you, what is Phase 1, Part 2, okay? That's the work that we allocated already and Cheatham has done. The only thing they've not finished on that, just so we're clear, is the STA construction with that at the stormwater treatment area. And the reason they didn't do that is because they'd have to excavate the fill, take it out of town, and then bring some fill in to do what is considered the Part 3 area. But I wanted you to understand the chart. So Phase 1, we're only talking Phase 1, and this is Part 2. If you look up on the top, it tells you the various funding sources: the town, HMGP, DEP, Indian River Lagoon, and Martin County Utilities. And if you look down, it pays for design, grant management, it pays for bidding the contractor, items that have already been done on some of these things. The construction is what we pay Cheatham. Items that will happen in the near future, we have to do what they call a QAP, which basically tells how we're going to monitor the stormwater for the next year, okay? We have to do water quality monitoring, we have to do some education, and CEI is what you've been paying Consor, okay? So essentially, if you can see, the town, on that contract, we expect to be paying $229,000, okay, for those items there. HMGP 1 was the design that we had to do to get to where we're at now, to get the $877,000 in the next column. And then the DEP column pays for grant management, bidding, construction. Those are items that you have been paying for, but in the future, we will see about $120,000, the 50, the 50, and 20, that we have to do monitoring after the project's built. The Indian River Lagoon Council, the $330,000, most of that's been completed, but the fact is we can't get reimbursed for that, as Cheryl told you earlier, until we complete the project, because they want to see that there's monitoring been done. And then Martin County Utilities has been paying us for the $488,000. I don't think you received all that money yet, but that's for all the water and sewer lines that have been done. So that pretty much shows you what Part 2 entailed, okay? It was about $1,733,000. I wanted you to know that, just so you can kind of see that. That's just, we're only talking about Phase 1, Part 2, and then the next phase is what we were waiting on for the HMGP money, okay? So, not going through each one of them again, but again, this is the item you just approved, okay? We basically plan on using $877,500 for construction. There's some grant management in there, some money that the town has to contribute, and then the $84,000 was the Consor money that you just approved, okay? That's for overseeing the construction, okay? Now, we still have to apply for more HMGP money. This is what I wanted you to know about. We still have to pay for more HMGP money, and we filed the application for HMGP, and then we expanded the project. Adding pumps is what we've done, okay? We haven't built anything yet, and if you recall, we had a delay, and so basically between the pumps and the delays and everything, there's about construction, and the construction add-on is really a change order you're going to see, okay? And it comes to about $691,000. So my goal is to file that, now that we have a contract with FEMA, and we've shown that the cost-benefit ratio worked, we're going to apply for this $691,000, okay? Now, if we don't get that money, and that's what I want to make sure you know, that would be a town cost. Again, our goal is to get you that money, but that's what we need to be turning in here in short order. So again, this Part 3 is about a $1.8 million area, cost, okay? So I wanted you to make sure you understand what was going on. We still have, we got Cheatham started. They're going to be doing the work. They are, we're negotiating that $275,000 number right now that you see there to make, but part of that is what they proposed to us so far. Remember we said that it would be about $150,000. They have come down to about $55,000 is what they've asked for, because they had to go off and remobilize. So they've come down on that item, but we still have to negotiate the pumps and so forth that we've added to the project. So again, I just wanted you to be aware where we're at. They are working. You're going to see a substantial amount of effort to put in the storm facilities, as you know. Our urgency is not only get this grant request turned in, but it is also to get the project built, because we're about ready to enter the storm season, right? So we want to get these items in place. So we will be coming back to you in short order, maybe a special meeting, maybe not, for the change order for resolve that 275, because we need to get them moving on that, order those pumps, order a generator, things like that. So you kind of know what would go on. So when we do have a generator, it's going to be a pad-mounted generator, and that would mean it would be on a trailer. Hopefully we can store it at town in the garage. If not, we'll find another place for it. It'll be stored, and then what we will do is set up where our continuing service provider will operate it on a regular basis, so it's available when you need it. They will also operate the pumps, because it's not certain that you need to use them all the time, but we will make sure they are exercised on a monthly basis. So I just want you to know we are setting this up so that they'll be operated and maintained and obviously exercised so they work when you need them, okay? And so those are things that have to be done. I think Commissioner Kurzman pointed out that, we put this infrastructure in, it does need maintenance. The number wasn't substantial to do that operating and maintenance on a regular basis, but it is something that has to be done. So that will be done through your continuing service contractor. In this case right now is Sunshine Land Design. So we have an option on buying the generator or not. That's probably one thing we still have an option for. We're going to have one point of service for both pumps. So there'll be 2 pumps in that system down there. And each one of the systems we design, we will plan on 2 pumps. One of the systems will pump out the lower level areas, like as we told you before, that the areas next to the road that's now being raised is private property. We are not dumping our water on private property. We are taking care of it, and we are discharging it by gravity, and then when that exceeds the capacity, we will be using pumps. So we are anticipating, now don't get me wrong, we have a level of service of storm events we are accomplishing here. And so in other words, if we had a hurricane, a 500-year storm, hey, all bets are off, folks. Obviously, it all depends on making sure we don't have clogged pipes and everything like that. We are regularly maintaining the system, okay? So what's happening now, you will see them, and Sunshine Land Design actually started last week, cleaning out inlets and so forth with their vacuum truck. That is something that we do yearly, and we try to make sure they're done before hurricane season, which again is another month away now.
Okay.
So I think everything's working. I just wanted you to be aware where we were on all this, okay?
Thanks so much.
Thank you, I appreciate the update.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question.
As far as getting the pump, is it possible to get a pump in by Mandalay? Because we are going into hurricane season, because the retention ponds that are not there, there is no weir there or anything, especially if we go into the king tides. This way, the neighborhoods aren't going to flood if we get a pump.
Okay, so is it possible? Yes. I'm kind of trying to be conscious of the change orders here a little bit, but the fact of the matter is we have made sure that the contractor has everything open. In other words, currently, he's built more stormwater capacity out there in part 2, for example, than was ever out there before. And then what we did at the outfall where we discharge, remember we got storage, we got conveyance, and we got discharge. He's left the discharge open. Now, he's built the weir, but he's left the discharge open so the water would flow out of the exfiltration. In the area that he hasn't built yet, he hasn't blocked anything off either. So that the capacity that was there before is still there. So I just want you to know things should not be any worse, okay? And I have asked him to make sure he has temporary pumps available during heavy rain events, because he's basically, that's his road right now, okay? So if we do run into a heavy rain, he should have some pumps out there. He may have them in the back of his pickup truck, but I've told him to make sure they're available, and we kind of keep an eye on it ourselves, and Consor also, so, and the contractor. So we need to probably, we've been lucky the last month or two, it's been dry, But as you can tell from last weekend, we're seeing more rain, so we need to step up our efforts in that area, so I will remind them about that.
A lot of the property owners who are very generous, that store their equipment on their property. So it doesn't have to be stored elsewhere, it doesn't mean anything, it can be moved off. They've been very cooperative. That's
Yeah.
why I want to see them get flooded out.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Madam Mayor, can we ask Joe, can you just remind the commission for Phase 1, Part 2, and Part 3, when the end timeline is supposed to be for construction?
Yes, we have, we've kind of been telling everybody the middle of August, okay, is when we're hoping everything will be finished and cleaned up, maybe sooner, but give you an idea, they're putting in storm pipes. I did ask them when will, they put in the underground storage pipes and so forth. They've got all the water mains in now, okay? That was one of the reasons why you're able to get paid back on the Martin County utility stuff. Those are all put in, as well as the services to all the houses. They're all new in those areas. That's done. Stormwater is the next step, and then they will start putting pavement down. And that's when we will start spending a large part of that $691,000. So that will probably happen at the end of May. So you'll start seeing the road being raised in May, at the end of May.
Just to make sure you heard that. So as Joe was kind enough to tell us, while this column is our town identified amount, $271,000, the pending request that we are submitting for grants, the $691,000 together, that's $962,522 due before the end of August. And we are aggressively pursuing grants. Again, it's a placeholder. It's not real yet.
That's right.
Okay, thank you, that's a good heads up. Any other staff comments?
No, ma'am.
All right, any commissioner comments?
Good meeting.
All right, well, can I get a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
All right, a second?
Second?
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank